It's another beautiful day at VistaPro Landscape and Design. The sun is rising, but the clouds are looming. We can definitely give you a beautiful landscape, but today we're pouring concrete. The footers are dug, the rebar is set. All we're waiting for is our first concrete truck.
This is at the end of the day of what we're going to be accomplishing. Get ready, sit back, enjoy the video, and see how we get here.
What we're doing today is a monolithic poured concrete. The nice part about this is we can put in water lines, conduit, or anything else that might need to be done before the concrete's poured and actually pour it within the concrete.
Anybody can build a beautiful project, but making a beautiful project that lasts is important. As you can see, we're making sure that we have proper foundation and proper drainage behind these walls to make sure that we relieve the hydrostatic pressure. Here's our first concrete truck, and we're ready to pour our concrete. We're going ahead and starting to pour the footers. The beauty of this wall product actually is that we actually do a monolithic pour so that you have no cold seams or anything else like that. We've actually put some gravel down just to keep that moisture from out of underneath the concrete. Here you can see we've already got the footer poured. The nice part about this product is a nice 9-sack mix. So what actually ends up happening is the footer is set up pretty quickly.
We're here today on our 2011 concrete demo doing a Stonemaker's wall today. We're still out ready to go ahead and put in our special mix, the wall builder. This is a polymer we're going to add into the concrete that'll actually help give us the ability to actually stack this concrete up. We're going to show you some amazing things today, very excited, but here comes the magic mix.
Here we're making sure the polyad mixture is really well stirred into the concrete. Here's some of our basic tools, just some hand trowels, pool trowels. We're going to go ahead and get some of our other chemicals ready to go as we start to stack this wall up. It's going to help us to ensure that we're able to do the product properly.
Well, here comes the magic. This is where we actually start to begin the process of what most people get amazed by is when we actually take this wet concrete. We've got probably about a 5-6, I'll say about 5 foot tall wall that we're going to be building here. We're going to be building with no forms, so just get ready to sit back and watch in amazement. I was amazed the first time I saw this. We're going to start stacking it now. We're going to set up a set of steps too.
During our demo day, we had an opportunity, had a lot of different contractors, architects, designers come on by, and actually had the opportunity to see this firsthand. This looks like just mounds of concrete, but this is actually how we start the process. We have to go ahead and start stacking it up. But once we kind of get to a point and it starts to set up, we'll actually start to stack it. As you can see here, we've taking our shovels and shoveling it up. You can see this is the amazing part about this concrete product, that we're able to just literally stack it, no forms whatsoever. Here you can see we're actually starting to go ahead and backfill over our pipes for our drain on the back side of the wall. A lot of times it's the stuff that you don't even see that really structurally makes sure that your wall is going to stay there for a lifetime. One of the first things we were doing is actually getting a set of steps that accesses from the upper parking area to the lower parking area. And you can see in a truck, it looks like a little bit of a dry slump. We do actually pour this at about a 2.5 to 3 inch slump. It'll be a little fun and interesting getting it out of the truck, but not too big of a deal. A couple shovels, some good old elbow grease gets that on out. Again, this is the power that actually makes us, gives us the ability to stack this concrete up. You can see as we're actually starting to form up our steps here. It's basically like modeling clay. But the cool part about this product is we're able to mold it into what we really want. But the strength of this concrete is unbelievable. We've actually done in-house tests. At 28 days, this concrete is already breaking at 5,500 to 6,500 PSI. At a full 90 to 120 days, we're actually getting concrete breaks of anywhere between 8,500 to almost 12,500 PSI concrete. I said earlier, it is a pretty tight slump. We do have to kind of push it and work with it, put our backs into it, but it really gives us what we want so that we can actually sit here and form it. I mean, you can see the concrete starting to set up, and even if it starts to set up a little bit too fast, we do have a product that we got to put in here called wall finish that actually will re-solidify the concrete. That way we can, if it's a little bit too far, a little bit too hardened, we can come back and actually reshape it. There's just so much flexibility with this product. You can see here we're actually applying the wall finish. What we're going to be doing is actually texturing this part. We really got to come back in here and kind of create the textures in there that actually makes it look like real stone. And this wall finish also has an acrylic in it, so when we come back and do the dye into it, this will actually allow the dye to permeate into the concrete and actually adhere to the concrete so it doesn't come off later. You can see here, this is one of our texturing mats. We just actually applied the wall finish, kind of smoothed it out. I'll wait till we actually pull this thing away and you'll see the actual texture. These mats are actually taken off of real stone. And we'll use a combination of this and you can see our smaller one here, get into the little tighter areas to actually texture that up. Doesn't look a lot right now, but I tell you, once this concrete really starts to set up, the realistic part of this is just amazing. The nice part about this too, because it's still wet, if we don't like one of the textures or the look of something, maybe the boulder's too round or the stone just looking too sharp, we can come back in with our trowels, just smooth it right back out and try it again. Here we're using another one type of our texture mats. It's actually a roller, just in the speed of things. The nice part about this product too is just the production rate. We don't have to come in here. We haven't had to put any forms or anything. I mean, you're talking about a day or two worth of forms to work. We actually excavated this the day before. It took us about a half a day. It took less than a quarter of a day to set up the steel. We will finish this entire project in less than a day. 102 linear feet by 5 foot tall worth of concrete work done in a day and a half. We can also go ahead and do different types of looks. We can do flagstone look. We can look like a PA fieldstone. You know, a lot of this stuff is stone that we get in this area. But the beauty of this is we don't have to have those square steps. We can make them rounded. We can make them curved. We can take off soft edge on it. If you want them 3 inches tall, we can make them 3 inches tall. If you want to make them 10 inches tall, we can make them 10 inches tall. You can see we just keep on stacking, and there's no fears of any types of cold joints or anything else like that, because we're again, monolithic pouring. This is all going to be part of the footer, which is part of the steps, which then becomes part of the walls. Nice part too about not having forms in here is we just got so much flexibility to move and work with the curves wherever we go. The one hard part is because it is wet, we do have to stretch a little bit. Now you can see as our concrete starts to set up, we're stacking this wall higher and higher. We're actually just taking our trowels, pushing it on up. We can also shoot this concrete. We actually just finished up a wall that was almost 8 foot tall. We did do a little bit of a backing on it. We literally just stood back, took a gun, some air compressor, and just pushed it right against the wall, literally stacked it up. Did a 85 foot by 8 foot tall wall, shot and done in less than 10 hours.
Basically right now we're kind of at our process where we've actually stacked our concrete, and right here at this particular part of the wall we're doing is a kind of a boulder cliff look. We're going through, we've already kind of come up in and done some carves. So we've done some heavy carves in, just kind of give it a realistic look. Down here you can see this is one of our I don't want to call them a stamp, it's more of a texture mat. What we're doing is we're just taking these and we're actually putting it up against the wet concrete. This concrete's still wet. You can push on it, shape it, still do everything that you want to it. But it's strong enough right now. It's dry enough that we're actually stacking this up. But what we're coming in and actually putting the textures inside here now, which actually gives it a more realistic look. It's just a wild process, as you saw through the video so far. We basically took wet concrete out of a truck. We've poured it down into place, and as it starts to cure and set up, we literally have stacked it up. Here fairly soon what we're going to be doing is once we get to the edge of this building, we're going to go ahead and actually go to a stone wall look. It's actually going to be a veneer stone wall that we're going to be doing. So pretty wild process. We can do multiple different things. Anything from boulder looks, big boulder walls, a cliff look. We could do a flat look, and maybe veneer it in the future. There's just so many different possibilities. With wet concrete, it's placid, so we can work it. As this starts to cure out, we'll kind of brush it down a little bit. That way, when we actually dye this out and also it fully cures, it'll be a really nice textured wall.
Here's an example of us actually starting to dye a wall. This wall right here is a carved out stone wall. What we're doing basically is just taking a little bit of an artistic touch. We're taking different colors, first coloring each stone a different color, and then what we'll do is we'll actually come back and put in different tones and different shades, which actually gives us some great depth, some difference actually in the stones, so it looks like individual stones throughout the wall.
Something we were doing a little bit earlier was actually doing a boulder wall. Something else we can do with the Stonemaker's product here is actually carve what looks like natural stone into the concrete. What we're doing down here is we've taken basically a vertical wall, pretty much straight up and down, and we're coming in. Hey, un momento. Gracias. What we're actually doing here is we're cutting in stone, or what are going to be future stones as we start to carve them out. So basically what we're doing is we're kind of coming through and actually just marking out locations of where natural stone would be within a wall. And once we kind of mark this in, what we'll do is we'll actually start to carve everything out fully, give them some texture, gives them some shape, and then when we color them out, give them different colors for each individual stone, and it'll look like a natural stone wall.
Here's just a short little clip of going over a wall that we originally had poured when we first started doing this process. What we're just trying to show you here is that we can go over something old. We don't have to tear it out. We do use the same magical mix once again and just basically go over something old. Here we basically built a water feature, and what we want to do is actually expand it, make it larger, do it a 360-degree water feature. We're actually using a pump truck here because it was kind of inconvenient to actually get the truck on the back side. We've already pre-plumbed everything in, and basically all we're doing is just reinforcing it with a little bit of steel, doing in some new carving stones, and putting in some new boulders for the water feature, and just creating something new out of something old.
This is our down and dirty coloring process. What we'll do is we'll actually take sprayers and take a single color. Typically we'll start lighter and then start working darker. We'll go ahead and do an overspray over it and then go ahead and then brush it into what's there. The mixtures, basically we take our dye and then mix a certain percentage of water depending on how concentrated we want to put it. You can see here we're actually taking a sprayer, working a little bit more, kind of adding the details. We can basically play in any different types of color tones, brown tones, which are more of your natural tones. We can do different hues of black, grays, things like that. We can also intermix them. We can even get out into wild colors of blue, magenta, green, whatever you'd like to do. But this whole sequence right here really took us probably about 30-40 minutes just to color this stone feature here. Basically, this just gives us an opportunity to take a look at taking some boulders and coloring them down in a natural tone here. I just want to really thank you for this opportunity and for you just taking a look at the stonemaker's process and what we can do with it. It's definitely something different, something that's very unusual. When I first got introduced to the product, I was very resistant to it. Concrete, it's not natural, it's man-made. But the thing is we've proved through this video that we can take a man-made product and make it look natural. So take an opportunity to come out, take a look at some of the things we've done, and then just use your imagination and think of all the cool, wild, crazy things we can do. We look forward to working with you.